Welcome to Bitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy and nor game design. I am Ben Slinger, and with me as always is Trevor Scott.
Why, hello.
Well, that was very low energy compared to how apparently excited I was to say welcome to Bitstorm to everybody. I saw that meter jump right up.
Yeah, well, I'm not feeling great, so...
Well, let's see what we can do about that. Poke you up. All right, so this is Bitstorm. I think we're just going to click pitch today. What do you think, Trevor?
Oh, we'll see what happens.
So where we go? Let's start with some click pitch. So, for those who might just be joining us, in episode 82, I think, something like that, 82?
82.
Click pitch is a game where we each have a random word generator in front of us, and on the count of 3 to 1 click, we'll hit refresh, get a new word, and we'll jam those words together. We'll just mush them together. We'll make them smooch. And out of that will come a game. So,
fantastic.
Let's do it. 3, 2, 1, click.
Mask.
Supply.
Ooh.
So I saw a meme today about Jim Carrey's The Mask.
Okay.
Where they'd fixed it by getting rid of that weird green tint that was accidentally on his face in the original movie. And they'd just made him regular flesh colored, and it was weird. But maybe there's a whole supply of those masks. Maybe this is a world where, like, maybe they're like the Jedi. Like, maybe they're like Jedi in Star Wars, is the people with these spooky masks that turn them into pure personality, or whatever the fuck was supposed to do in that movie.
Okay.
That's just what came to mind. But, you know, like, the mask character could do all these kind of cartoony, over-the-top things, right? Like, there could be some interesting things you could do with those sorts of cartoon tropes, like classic cartoon tropes, where your character is very kind of stretchy and malleable. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. And then, you know, they don't necessarily obey the laws of gravity or...
Yeah, as long as... Yeah, basically using cartoon physics as gameplay. So, like, if you run far enough off a cliff and don't look down and nobody tells you that you're off the cliff, then you might be able to make it across. Or, I don't know, what other cool cartoon physics things are there? Like, if for some reason you're stuck on a desert island and you're really hungry, then you just smack your head against the palm tree and the little Tweety birds will be floating around your head and you grab them and eat them.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. What other things are there that happen in cartoons?
You can paint a tunnel and run through it.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Basically, we take some stuff from Roger Rabbit and we take some stuff from The Mask.
Or Roadrunner.
And exactly. And then the actual cartoons like Roadrunner and I guess that's mostly the Warner Brothers ones that have those sorts of things. But, yeah, I don't know. That could be interesting. I think there could be some cool puzzle. I'm kind of thinking a bit of a side-scroller thing where you do have, maybe you've just got a few of those mechanics, where you can run off a cliff and then, I don't know, I guess how do you, obviously you can't just make it that you can always just run off into space. So maybe it's just that you can go a certain distance, or if you get interrupted while you're running, you fall or something, but otherwise you can kind of just keep running. And then, yeah, you can like...
Just don't look down.
Throw a hole or paint tunnels or something to get through obstacles.
I'm looking forward to seeing the dialogue puzzle in which you're like doing something similar to duck season, rabbit season, duck season, rabbit season, rabbit season.
You have to click the right one. You have to click the right one. It like shows up randomly to win the argument, basically. Yeah, I don't know. There are a lot of cool things you can do with those sort of gameplay mechanics.
Yep. I like it. I like it a lot.
Let's click again. Let's try and get something else. 3, 2, 1, click. Trip.
Actor.
Okay. My first instinct is that you're a stage actor who tripped on stage and became the laughingstock, and you're trying to rebuild your reputation as a serious actor.
Okay.
Maybe you capitalized off it. Maybe you tried to turn bad publicity into good. And so you started doing like roles where you tripped over stuff because everybody just recognized you as the trip over stuff guy. but now you're like kind of semi-famous, but you can't take that next stage because you've been typecast as the guy who trips over stuff. And it's a platformer. You just have to not trip over things. It's a metaphorical platformer through the tale of your redemption to be a serious actor.
Okay, so what type of word have you got selected right there? Have you got noun or verb?
That's interesting. It is a noun.
So, this actor is about to go on holiday.
Okay. And then he trips.
No, I just thought that was quite interesting that you...
Then I chose the verb. Well, I mean, that's just what came to mind.
Yeah.
When I thought of an actor and tripping. And the word trip, I mean, well, there you go. I just did it again.
So, I was also thinking...
It doesn't have to be a platformer, but...
I was also thinking, is it one of these infinite runners where you have to try and stop the actor in this thing from tripping over?
Yeah, well, that's almost what I was thinking. I kind of like the idea of an infinite runner with like a real serious storyline. Or at least like a personal story. I like the idea that your character is actually like ahead of the actor. So you're not playing the actor, but you're actually clearing out the way, and you're like a PA.
Yeah, you're either a PA or you're a like a janitor or something that's clearing the way ahead.
Maybe you're, to keep with it being sort of metaphorical, maybe you're their manager. And so you're trying to clear all the obstacles from the path of your client to become a serious actor.
Now, some of those obstacles in later levels could actually be, other actors.
Yeah, well, that's it. Let's keep it metaphorical. Let's start at the beginning, though. So, I kind of like the idea that, yeah, this is an infinite runner where you are just following the whole career of this actor. So maybe, well, I guess, or do you tell the story about how they're this disgraced actor who kind of did this, like, tried to capitalize on it, blah, 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 and now they're sort of just this C-list personality. And then that's where the game starts. And it's like, all right, and now you're getting back on top, and this new manager comes along and, like, pumps them up, and they just start running. And so then what you're clearing is, like, bad scripts about tripping and ex-girlfriends or boyfriends and, like, I don't know, and power-ups are like residual checks from that one tripping YouTube video that went viral. I don't know how you necessarily communicate all of this. Maybe there's like a little story going on at the side or something, or like as you pick things up, it like gives you a little bit of a thing next to it, like next to the game screen to tell you what it was, or there's like a little clip that plays. But yeah, as you go on and you do, you smash through that next gate of getting a part that doesn't have any tripping over in it. And you actually get to do some acting, and, it goes reasonably well. And then you're dodging, paparazzi. Well, not paparazzi yet. That'd be even later, I guess. But now you're dodging.
Very much later.
Yeah. But now you're dodging, like, family members who got a sniff of a little bit of success and want to borrow money. And, I don't know. What else? I guess eventually you get to the point where you're known, and then it's paparazzi, and eventually you reach the final gate of you won an Oscar. And
don't trip up the stairs.
And now it's just don't trip up the stairs. Yes. Oh my God. Well, I love the idea that if you fail in any particular section, then there's like a specific like end animation. So if you're on that second to last level before the Oscar, it ends with you tripping up the stairs to collect your Oscar, and then they take it away from you because they all laugh. And yeah, but if you do get it, and then the last like, because it's an infinite runner, then you're just going on until you die, like as long as you can, and you get older and older, and you start playing different roles, and then if you get to that level and die, you get like the in memoriam at the Oscars.
Okay, and
it fades to black, and you're like, yes, you did it. You lived until you were 173 because you just are really good at this game.
Well, I'm just picturing that what actually happens is, it sort of gets to the in memoriam, that fades away, and it's like, hang on, I'm still going, and it's like, you start again.
Right. It was all
so like when you finish, Super Mario Brothers, then you have the second quest that you immediately start.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
It's just harder.
New Game Plus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Except the only way to get there is to actually finish the full game.
Right. Okay. Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, that's usually what a New Game Plus does, isn't it?
Yeah, but as in each time that you want to play the New Game Plus, you have to finish it all the way from the start to the end.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess. Yes. Okay, sure. Then you get 2 Oscars. Well, then you're going for the EGOT.
So you're going to do a music video or something at some stage?
You transition to TV and then stage, and then the other one. Music.
Okay. Very true.
Yeah. All right. Replacement.
Page.
Do you have anything?
So all I'm sort of thinking about is there's like a movie going on and you play like, I don't know what the, best boy or whatever they do, but I'm just picturing that they're like an intern or something like that has to hand in a replacement page for a script.
Okay.
And, you don't know what soundstage they're on. And so you've got sort of like a countdown as to when they're going to start filming this scene.
Oh, yeah, okay. What I'm picturing now is like almost a crazy taxi game in a movie studio.
Yep.
So you are like an assistant of sorts. I do like Best Boy, but I looked it up and they do like, I mean, I guess they're assistants,
audio stuff.
They're more specific. They do either electrical or lighting and stuff. Yeah.
I didn't think it was right, but anyway.
That's all right. I really wanted to have it be someone Best Boy, but also be a woman because I just like that. But anyway, no, I like more the idea that you're sort of just a general assistant. And so you're getting coffees, you're delivering pages, you're, trying to calm people down. But it is that same thing of Crazy Taxi where it's like, someone's got a job for you, race over and get it. And now you've got a certain amount of time. And it's just like, get through this movie studio as fast as you can, power-ups along the way, like a bit of Sunset Overdrive-ish sort of movement and stuff. Not quite that sort of, I don't know, more, like I'm talking full on parkour and stuff. Like you are this ultimate assistant and you do everything you can to get the job done.
Yeah. So what I'm seeing is as you're running to the soundstage and all that sort of stuff, sometimes you may run afoul of security.
Yeah.
So what happens is as you're running, you pull like, a shelving unit down and, you get away. But if you decide to come back through this particular area within this limited time period, you're going to have to now deal with that distraction that you made. It's not going to be cleaned up by the time you get back. So you're going to have to actually think about what you've done in each of the routes and think about, have they had time to actually clean up that mess that I made? Yeah,
well, once you learn the level, because I'm picturing it being just a fixed built, like hand-built level, but large, pretty large. But with specific paths between different sound stages and managers' offices and, like the storage units or whatever and the set place where they build the sets and so once you start to know your way around, that's exactly it. You're like, oh, but if I have to come back this way and I've, let out all the bees that they're using for B Movie 2, the live action one, then that's gonna, like, if they haven't cleaned that up yet, I'm gonna have to go the long way around and I might not make my next task.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool. Or it's just gonna be more of a challenge, right? It's like, okay, I'm gonna be able to come through here, but I'm gonna have to like climb up onto the overhead lighting rig and then like grind down a rope and, but there's a security guard at the end there. So, I'm gonna have to, throw script pages in his face to distract him. So I can get out the door.
So what I'm seeing in some of the later levels is you've got to get from the manager's office on one side over to Soundstage 5. But to get there, the easiest way is to actually go through Soundstage 2. But
right, but
that's where that's where you've just dropped a page off, so you know that they're filming in there.
Yep.
And it's like, that the red light's on. So you can't go through, but do you risk it and get there a little bit quicker? So
right. Do you risk getting fired? Ruin the take. But you only get fired if they see you or catch you.
Exactly. So I like the idea that if you're doing like parkour in the background and the director happens to not be looking at the time or something like that, or you make it through flawlessly, and then you later on see like a trailer or something, and you just see you parkouring in the background.
Yes. I love that idea that. Yeah, you could just like, let's flip off a boom mic, which pulls it down into the shot, or you drop something in the background. Like, I wonder if there's a challenge between, that same thing. Like, if you actually make it into the shot, then you do lose points or something because they recognize you later on. But if it's just that you affect the shot in some way without actually them seeing your face, it could even be that you could do a specific move as you go through the shot, which like hides your face because you know that, flipping it around in a certain way, your face will be covered as you go through the shot.
You just hold the page up as you walk through.
Yeah, But yeah, I love that idea that like in every section or something, there's at least a few of those opportunities so that at the end you get like a collection almost of all the shots you've ruined in the very specific way that you did it.
Yeah, and the idea being that you can actually have, Xbox achievements or whatever, or PlayStation trophies, whatever you want to call them, to actually collect,
try
to find all these scenes that you want that you can wreck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and then have a trophy for wrecking a scene, and have a trophy for making it through without wrecking a scene, and
or maybe there are ways to make it better. You drop some paint down, and it makes the death scene look all even bloodier. And I like the idea of like a Crazy Taxi-esque parkour going through a movie studio. There's so many different missions you could do, right? Like, big movie stars just walked out because the offer wasn't big enough, and so the producer sends you after him with a new thing to sign or whatever. But so it's a moving target. You have to track them through and follow, or either follow them or catch up with them. They're in one of those little golf buggies that drive around the lot.
I kind of like the idea that the what's it called? So the jobs are sort of randomized, but they're sort of selected as to which ones you're going to have to do.
Yeah.
But every single movie has got a schedule. So the schedule is set at the very start as to when they're all going to start.
Yep.
And all you've got up there is the time ticking by. And so if you've taken, 7 minutes to do that first one, yet the second one has to be there within 10 minutes, you've now only got 3 minutes left to get that one there. And
I see. So each mission kind of goes to a specific movie that's filming.
Yep.
Right.
Based on a schedule. That is, it's achievable, but it's one of those things that...
Yeah, where you have to be really good and do it sort of in the right order.
But of course, if you happen to run through the movie studio and knock something over, all of a sudden, they're having to spend time cleaning that up, and maybe they now
it actually
push
puts
the
it off
schedule back.
schedule. But that gives you more time to do some of the missions or something.
It gives you more time to do some other missions. So
you can actually strategize. And of course, there's like 5 or 6 movies filming at once in the different sound stages.
And that can just be day one. And then day 2 can be, it opens up more. So there's now seven stages that are actually...
Or it's just that some of the movies finish. Like, as you finish some of the different tasks that are available, that movie finishes filming and a different movie comes. So the set then is completely different. And you've got different routes through it that you can climb across, and different ways that you can ruin it or make it better.
I'm so
or whatever.
picturing day 6, though. It's all 20 studios on the lot. 20 sound stages being used.
This is a huge lot. All right. And it's all massive. For one. It's all for one movie. It's like some giant blockbuster. And it's just all these different locations from one movie.
And so you see, Guy Pearce in Soundstage 1, that he's going to be at Soundstage 3 at like 1 o'clock, and then he's going to be at Soundstage 17 at like, what did I say, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock? Something like that.
Yeah, exactly. For when Crocodile Dundee 3 films the big crossover scene with all of the Avengers, and also Batman is there.
Awesome. Which Batman?
All of them, actually. They resurrect Adam West as a hologram, but funnily enough, he knows he's a hologram. Like it's in character.
Well, they just have to get Ralph Garman to do the voices, so that's okay.
Yeah, he does the voice, and there's a hologram of Adam West, and then Christian Bale's there, George Clooney, Val Kilmer, the other one, Michael Keaton, and Ben Affleck. What
about Kevin Conroy?
Funnily enough, Christian Bale lost his voice, so Kevin Conroy is doing the voiceover.
Nice. I reckon that would actually probably be the best Batman ever.
They're actually all training Guy Pearce as Crocodile Dundee to be the Australian Batman, and the Avengers are just there for the show.
Because Chris Hemsworth, he just wanted to be there.
Shawarma, yeah. Eating dim sims and fish and chips, yeah.
Awesome. Let's click again. I got to say, I really do actually like that game. I reckon that.
Oh, I do too. That would be awesome. It like mixes the best parts of like Assassin's Creed Sunset Overdrive and Crazy Taxi
Yep.
and that old stuntman driving game. All right. Resort.
Chap.
Chap? Oh, okay. The Resort Chap.
C-H-A-P.
It sounds like a bad sitcom from the 70s or something.
So, I mean, I've actually taken chap as chapstick.
Oh, like chapped lips?
Yes.
Okay.
Just because boring with having a man, it's just, ugh.
Oh, but I was going to explore all those 70s tropes about, like, he's actually gay, but they like, can't say that on TV, so they have to just do all this innuendo. But then that's fine.
So, in other words, it's, are you being served?
Yeah, or wasn't Three's Company, was it Three's Company? Like, something like that? I don't know. I never actually watched it. I wasn't born in the 70s. Fuck off.
Three's Company was John Ritter and Suzanne Summers. And
that was different. Wasn't he pretending he was gay so he could live with them or something? Or like, again,
yes,
I think they implied it maybe. I don't know. I never watched it. All right, so chapped to chap. On a resort. Like on a resort? Or you're resorting to chapstick?
I like the idea that
trying to keep your lips as dry as possible.
It is a resort. I'm picturing, for some reason, Wii Sports Resort.
Sure.
So that's sort of like an island resort.
Yep.
Sort of thing.
Yep.
And maybe it's the story of what happens to this chapstick. Now,
it's following the chapstick is the protagonist.
The chapstick is the protagonist, but you the person who's controlling the character is controlling the character who's currently carrying the chapstick.
Okay, so if the chapstick changes hands, you're now controlling that character.
You're now controlling the new person.
Okay. That's an interesting way to tell a story, or so. I like it. I like it. Is this just like a sort of, you're telling a story, like it's a narrative thing in a way, or it's like one of these things where you sort of just, there are different characters around the resort and you're sort of trying to figure out the relationships between them and solve problems via the moistening of lips?
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm picturing that it starts off that you're a chapstick that's just being purchased at like the airport, convenience store.
Yeah, sorry. Yep. So you're fresh out of the pack.
Fresh out of the pack.
No lips have touched this dip. That's not a thing.
It's quite funny. The way it actually starts is the person that actually picks it up. You control them. You take them to the counter, and then the chapstick gets handed to the guy at the register, and then you control the guy at the register.
Okay, so that's how they kind of introduce this mechanic. Yeah.
And then, it gets handed back over to this person. And so you're going on with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so this person just starts their holiday and meets some people until they come across someone with dry lips.
Well, what you can actually have is, like, the chapstick is in the bag, and then someone steals the bag.
Okay, well, I don't know if that should be
controlling.
I don't know if that should be the very first one.
No, but that's something that can actually happen.
That's certainly something that can happen.
I do like the idea that this chapstick is sort of changing hands, and you can basically maybe come across someone who would like to use some chapstick.
Yeah.
And so they take it and they use it for a while and they forget to give it back.
Yeah.
So now you're
this person, and now you explore a bit of their life on this resort and their situation. Yeah, and I guess how many different ways can you use a chapstick? Because I like the idea that this is almost an adventure game with one inventory item, and also you are the inventory item.
I know how many different ways can you use a chapstick?
Write
messages on mirrors.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. Anything where you need some grease, some sort of, like, maybe someone's ring is stuck.
Yes. Okay.
And so they kind of grease up their finger a bit with the chapstick.
I like the idea that a kid's finger is stuck in, like, a gate.
Yeah.
So, like,
okay.
You know how you got, like, the slidey lock things. When I was a kid, I actually stuck my finger in one of those holes, and
it's like a Chinese finger trap then. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like the idea that you got a kid like that, and so you use the chapstick to sort of grease up their finger, and they can actually slip it out.
Yeah, but then the kid takes it, or like swallows it because they're a kid.
Oh,
and then you control the kid until they play the toilet. The like janitor the maintenance worker who has to unclog the toilet, and they find it.
This has just gone into a really bad
let's
place.
Not do that because I actually want them to use the chapstick again, because I like the idea that as all these things are happening, this chapstick's getting worn down.
Yes.
And then by the end, the chapstick's run out, and it's this really sad moment because you've seen the entirety of this chapstick's like useful life, and they're really sad. Is there any personality to this chapstick in any way? Any anthropomorphic kind of behaviors, or like a voice in its head?
I'm just wondering whether
like an internal monologue.
It's the narrator.
Okay, yeah. So I just finished watching an episode of Jane the Virgin. Have you watched Jane the Virgin?
No, I haven't watched that.
It's really quite funny, but basically the narrator is one of the characters. Like, they're not at all in the story, but they've just got a real personality, and they kind of inject their opinion a lot as they're narrating. I kind of like that idea a bit of, yeah, like you said, the chapstick is the narrator, but yeah, you really get a sense for their personality, and they're commenting and judging the people who are carrying them around, or who are around the people who you're controlling at any point.
I think you can have like little vignettes when they first get like put into a bag or something, and they talk to like the deodorant can and the purse that's in there, and you have little conversations happening, and then,
or even just maybe not a vignette, but like just a voiceover of the different items in the bag as you're sort of going around and controlling this person as they go for a swim, or I don't know, you can do different things. Similar again for things I've been doing recently, God of War, when you're like in the boat, there's just a bunch of stories that can get told.
Yep.
By the different, whichever characters you've got at that point. So in a similar way, depending on which character is carrying you at that time, there are just different things that can happen. So it is, you spark up a relationship with the deodorant can and the tampon in the woman's purse. But, if the kid's carrying you, then it's just little, like, maybe the kid... Yeah, well, no, but maybe it's something different. Like the kid gets the chapstick out and starts like chewing on it or something, and that's something that can kind of happen again just as you're controlling this kid, walking around, doing little tasks or whatever you do, like learning about the kid's parents and their relationship then with the hotel manager who thinks they're a little brat, or I don't know. You can tell really just fun little interesting stories.
And I like the idea that you can actually, maybe with some of these stories, you can have two outcomes that you sort of.
Yeah.
If you talk to the right people as you're going around, like that family can end up having the father having an affair with someone else. Like if you've made the wrong decision, so you can sort of take him down that route, and then all of a sudden you've got that family is just they're now like having a really bad holiday. And
and it can just change some of the conversations, and mean that later on they're in different places, like there are different kind of events that occur.
Yeah,
because I'm almost picturing this as a bit of a Hitman level as well, in that there are just sort of events happening at different times.
Yeah, I like that. And
also based on what you're doing, but just that you can take part in and observe.
What I like again is kind of similar to our previous game. You've got a schedule of events that are happening for the day. So some of these people are going to end up back at coming together and then splitting apart. They're coming together, and it can just be over either one day or it can be over a bit more.
Yeah, I think it'd have to be. It depends how you want to do it. Like if you're doing it to add replayability, because like you could have it that there's the single path of the chapstick through this game. As in, there are particular events where it always changes hands in the same way. And obviously then the decisions you make as you're playing that person could, affect the different sort of scripted events that are scheduled throughout that day based on different things.
Yes.
Or, and this is way more complex, you could have it that there are actually different ways that the chapstick could change hands based on those events as well, and you're sort of having some control over it. But that creates so many different paths, it would probably be pretty difficult to make that happen.
But I think it's kind of similar to when you think about Until Dawn, how that had branching paths and different people could die at different times and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, look, if you did it in the right way...
Yeah, if you did it in the right way, it could make it feel like there's so many different ways that you can go, but when in actuality,
there's only
it's
just sort of
2 or 3 people that it can swap to at this one time, and then you have those 3 different ways of getting back to this one person that you want to go to. So it sort of breaks apart and then always comes back to the character.
Similar to, I think that's how David Cage often talks about his games, where it is, like these sort of branching paths, but they always come back to the same spot to really keep the story going. Yeah, I like that. I think I can be pretty certain that has never been done.
Oh, definitely
a game
not.
where you play a chapstick. In any way, shape, or form, I don't think. Like, I feel like
just
that's
really
probably...
like the idea of controlling different characters and being able to see, different interactions.
Totally.
Based on the fact that a person is carrying an item.
Yeah. I like that a lot. Cool.
Yep.
3, 2, 1, click.
3, 2, 1, click. Battle.
Edition. as in EDITION.
Okay.
So
I was thinking Battle
Mid-Storm
Edition.
Battle
so it's
Edition.
like,
So if
how could you do Battle and Edition? It's like, it's an educational game around what's this army plus this army versus
lots
this
of dead people? No, but it's not that. Maybe what we can take this as. Well, do you remember Battle Chess?
Yes.
Maybe we take another board game and make Battle Edition of that and discuss how that could be translated to a video game where the characters or pieces come to life and kill each other.
Okay.
Maybe a classic. Let's see, Cluedo, and you see the deaths happen.
Yep.
But then there's only one, I guess.
Yeah.
The Game of Life.
Oh, that could be
you're a serial killer, or you're just like,
Did you ever play the game Stratego?
Ooh, yes, I did.
I really like that game.
Do
and that
enjoy
game
that
has never really sort of been put to the video game test.
Given the battle chess treatment.
Yes.
I do like that, though. I guess one of the real benefits of, well, I guess this goes both ways. I was going to say one of the real benefits of battle chess was it sort of took chess, which are just pieces and you take a piece, and really gave it that personality of, oh no, they're actually like killing each other. But then chess has always been sort of a metaphor for war and battle anyway. Same, like, I guess my point was going to be the Stratego is a lot more obviously a battlefield already.
Yes.
But yeah, like I said, chess is basically a metaphor for that.
Should we
anyway.
actually explain what Stratego is for those listeners that may not know what Stratego is?
How about you explain it to me, because I've forgotten. I just remember there are like bombs and
so
mines.
basically you've got a character who is like a bomb diffuser. You've got, I think it's a single bomb somewhere in your group, and it's kind of like set up almost like a Guess Who sort of thing, that it's all facing your
each of you have
yourself.
a grid, like it's a grid. You each get to place down, I don't know, it's probably about 20, 25 pieces or something.
Yes.
That all have different it's all different units, and there are a lot of sort of pawn based ones that are just low.
And you get to place them in any sort of order that you want.
Yeah. And then
unlike chess, where they're in a specific order, if you really wanted to, you could have your bomb right in the front and center.
Yeah, but the thing is, if anybody hits the bomb other than the bomb sweep, like the sweeper or whatever, they die, right?
Yes, but then they also know.
But then they know where it is. Is that how that goes?
I think it's how it goes. I know it's been a long time since I've played it, but either way, it's.
Oh no, there are flags, and
that's right.
But you have to put bombs around the flags.
Yes, kind of like a minesweeper sort of thing.
Yeah. And so,
the only place that I put the flag was always in the back corner, and there was always like 5 bombs around it.
Yeah. So anyway, that could be cool as a digital version where it's just, are you just thinking of sort of animating the stuff that's happening?
Yeah, pretty much. In like a 3D environment sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, wait, I don't know. There was a digital Stratego CD-ROM in 1998 for Windows 95. And it was designed for use over a LAN modem to modem or over the internet. Amazing.
Ooh. No, thank you.
Yeah, I think 20 years later we can do it better. So, I don't know, how do we spice this up? Is it gore and animation, like cool gory animations as people blow up and blood and guts goes everywhere?
Like, at least in chess, you knew where all the pieces were at all times. In this, how do you hide them?
Well, you kind of can't play it on the same screen, can you?
Yeah, but even in reality, if you can see the battlefield, you're going to see where the flag is. Like, there's a big-ass fucking flag.
Unless you're playing on different screens, is what I mean. Like, if you're playing over the internet.
No, but I'm talking about, you want to see the battlefield and all this sort of stuff. Like,
yeah, but I think you just have to see, it's almost like a fog of war around the opposing pieces. And then as you attack them, that fog clears and the interaction plays out.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe not. After all that.
We gave it a try.
We gave it a try. All right. Unemployment.
Tag.
Oh, God. So, you work for a really terrible boss who, whenever they need to make cuts, has an office-wide game of tag.
So, have you seen the trailer for the new movie Tag?
No, is that the premise?
So, what it's based off is a real life group of people who every May they play a month-long game of tag that has been going since they were kids.
Okay.
And so they could be anywhere. Like, the way the trailer starts off is you got, like, Jeremy Renner at his wedding, and Ed Helms comes running down the middle of the aisle, and, like, jumps out to try and tag him. He steps out of the way, and the preacher gets smashed out of the way.
Oh, God.
I quite like the idea of a first-person game of tag.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I do like what you were coming up with the unemployment sort of thing. So if you are,
yeah. So I mean, I guess it's if you're when at a certain time, like by 5 p.m. when the whistle blows, then you're fired. But you also have to do your job
and deal with customers.
Yeah, well, I guess we need to maybe figure out what sort of workplace it is, or maybe different levels at different workplaces with different things that you have to do in between and different hazards. So, like, I mean, originally I was thinking, your standard cliche cubicle office, which is fine. Like, that's good. And you can have all sorts of things. Like, you can use roller chairs to get away faster. You can, like, blow up the photocopier to put a cloud of toner everywhere.
You can barricade yourself in a janitor's office.
Yeah, exactly. You can like build defenses around your cubicle. I guess where does that I guess the kind of balance of tension is, because you can't just have someone after you at all times. Because I feel like the benefit of something like this is if you haven't been paying attention, you don't know who's it.
Exactly.
So, Jeremy from accounting comes over like he does every day because he's handing out donuts because he's one of those super nice guys who's just so annoying because they're so nice, but you also still take a donut every time. Is he it though? Is he going to throw those donuts into the air and tag you?
So my question is around the rules of tag, or TE as it used to be called around here.
Yep. Chasey.
Yeah.
Kiss Chasey.
Oh, no.
No.
Okay. So I like the idea that you can set different rules in place, like no tag backs.
No tag backs.
You got Bali,
as we called it,
yep.
Or safe area.
Yeah.
Or if you're touching something.
I like the fact that you could have like the kitchenette is Bali, as well as the toilets.
Okay, yeah, you probably don't want the toilets to be a war zone of a tag zone.
Yep. So I do like the idea of this being in an open plan office.
Yep.
So
if you do want to pay attention, you can track down who is it at any time. But also, you won't get any work done. So you might get fired anyway.
Yeah, so I like the idea that you got to spend a time at your office and be monitoring what's happening on the computer, but because it's first person rather than third person, because in PUBG, one of the worst things that you could actually do in the third person is like use the camera to like look over where your character could not physically see.
Yeah.
So the idea of having, if you're typing stuff into the computer, you have to be looking at the computer, which means that you're not paying attention to everything else around. Yeah,
and I think maybe you can just have sort of little mini games and maybe some basic kind of needs management. So you do have to go and pee at certain times. You do have to go and eat. And just to get you out of your cubicle, like you can't just lock your way in there to win.
Oh, no, you've got meetings that you got to go to.
Yeah, exactly. You've got a meeting schedule. But I like that, and I like the idea that, you can peek out of your cubicle more often, but that literally does mean putting your head up over the side, and risk, like, that's risky too, because you might catch attention of the person who's it, or you might, like, the big boss might be on the floor. Like, I like the idea that this is some ridiculous scheme of a middle manager.
Yep. Because
they're shit at their job. If the big boss catches you doing this, then again, you're probably going to be fired because he doesn't know anything about it, and if he finds out, you'll all be fired. Like, the middle manager will be fired too.
So, is it a reverse King of the Hill?
In that you have to stay away from
No, it's the person with the least amount of time it.
Oh, maybe.
Or the person with the most amount of time being it is like the
is the loser.
Is basically the loser. Because otherwise, I mean, if I was it, I'd just stay, doing my job, and then tag someone
last second,
and I'm fine.
Yeah, I like that. I love the idea that it's this But it's this ridiculously over-the-top planned thing where you literally, like, everyone gets a Fitbit, like a modified Fitbit that can detect when you're tagged or something.
Yeah, and your timer just starts going
And
up.
your timer starts
and
up. Yeah. Yeah, and again, like, this middle manager has spent all of this, half his budget on this scheme.
What I do like is if you're sitting at your computer, the middle manager will occasionally send out an email with the current times of who's in the lead.
Yeah,
to be
I
fired.
like that. Now, is this... I was thinking of this as single player, but it's probably multiplayer, huh?
It's probably multiplayer.
Yeah. I love the idea of a multiplayer game where the best strategy is just pretending you're a regular office worker. Like, to not let people know that you're it. But maybe that little modified device, like, flashes every 2 minutes or something, if you're it. So you also can't just, like, hide it continuously.
Yeah.
Maybe every 30 seconds or something. I don't know. But to get close enough, like, so you've got a certain amount of time to gain someone's trust that you're not it before you can get close enough to them in certain situations to then tag them.
I'm thinking that each day there are two people that get fired.
Okay.
Person who does the least amount of work.
Yeah.
And the person that was it the longest.
Yeah.
And if those two people were the same thing, well, guess what? It goes to the second of
whichever
Well, it goes it first and then work them out second.
Yeah.
So the person who was it and had the most amount of time not doing work, it just goes to the next person who didn't do enough work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's more important about the work.
Yeah, ostensibly. Yeah, I like that. And so...
How long do the rounds go?
How long do what? Rounds. Oh.
I'm thinking the rounds go for 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's probably fine.
And the round is basically, this is a work day. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you've got... Yeah, well, is that long enough to have meetings and have, like, a lunch break?
I think the meetings can be like, you've got 5 seconds of having to stand in this meeting room. And then you can get out. Yeah, of course.
And it's just that everyone then has to go there without getting a big not having done work penalty. Yeah, actually, that's really good because it forces people to get into the same room at the same time. And one of them might be it. So it could just cause a bloodbath, as it were, a tag bath.
A tag bath. When you get tagged, basically, you can't tag anyone for 2 seconds.
Yeah, so they've got a chance to kind of scatter.
I'm just wondering whether how your character knows that they're being tagged is they'll all of a sudden like be frozen still, like the Fitbit is just activated and shot
them. It's like electrocutes them. Yeah. Yeah.
So everyone now knows that you're it.
That you're it. They can sort of dash away from you.
Because you may have been in the middle of a meeting and you got tagged by someone you didn't realize who it was.
Someone playing footsie under the table. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. So are there ways to kind of avoid being tagged if you see it coming? Like, are there different ways to tag? That like, just gameplay wise, is it just, you've got a key press that when you're close enough, you can hit E, press E to tag?
Yep. I mean, you've got the all out,
Or can you do like a diving tackle?
The non-surreptitious, you run up to someone and you just slap them in the back of the head sort of thing.
Yeah.
Or, do a punch sort of thing.
Punch buggy no returns.
That's how you know that, you're putting this out there for the next character.
Yeah. But if you do it in a shitty way, they might come after you.
Exactly. And you may get noticed by other people.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter then, though, if you tag them.
Yeah, so I think the surreptitious tag is the way to go, and you get, like, style points.
Although I guess, actually, if someone knows that you tagged someone else, then they also know you've probably racked up a bit of time as it. And so if they tag you back, you're more likely to be the number one, and they won't get fired.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it sort of went around, like, you see fucking Michaela tag Jonathan, then all right, well, if I get tagged, I'm going to go for Michaela because she's probably got a couple minutes of its time already. And I'm already, I'm already at a minute and a half, so I need to make sure that someone's got more than me.
Okay, so I think the first 30 seconds of the game, no one's it.
Oh, okay. So you just got to go about your business, do your work.
Go about your business, you're doing your work.
You might have a meeting.
You may have a meeting. At 30 seconds, there will be an email that's sent out.
Okay.
And you have to read the email to know whether you're it or not.
Oh, to know whether you're it or not, even?
Yeah.
Not just to find out who else is it.
So the person who is it will be the only one to receive an email.
Oh, okay.
And so now they now know.
Oh, okay. So at any point in time, you don't know
who the first person that was it.
Well, but you don't know what your time is at, even. Like, so if you miss that first email because you decided your strategy was to start, like, getting an early coffee, you come back to your desk at a minute, and then you've already got... you see the email, and you're like, oh, shit. Like, you look at the timestamp on the email, you look at the time now, and you're like, fuck, I've already got 37 seconds on the clock, and I didn't even know I was it.
Yeah.
All right. And then, I feel like maybe it might need to be a bit longer than 5 minutes, like maybe 10, but... yeah, like every minute another email comes out with the current scores.
Yep.
And gives everyone just that little bit more information. And maybe you've got like your work phone so you can check on the go when an email comes in.
Yeah, but I do like the idea that the reception's kind of shitty in like Bali.
In certain places. So, yeah. So you can't just hang out there and strategize too much. Yeah. You have to come out to read your emails. Yeah. Okay. I really like this actually. So do you think you then could incorporate different types of workplaces into different levels? Because that could just add some real interesting different sort of strategies. Like if you're working in a fast food joint, then you might be working next to people a lot more and you've got sort of some different mini game kind of work things that you have to do.
I think kind of similar to like PUBG where they first released with one map.
Right, yeah.
And the one map was, the office building.
Yeah, we can do it. We can do early access.
The second map that comes out is like an electronics store. Or like a JD or something like that.
So somewhere where you kind of have to be out on the floor, you have to deal with customers a bit.
Yes.
And so maybe there's an added thing there of if you act too weird in front of the customers as part of this game, like that's a penalty or something.
Yeah.
So then you've really got to worry that like if a customer asks you to go check in the back for some stock, you're like, oh shit, this is prime tagging zone because there's no customers back there to see. So there's a strategy there.
Yeah, I quite like that.
Yeah, that's cool. And then, like, I don't know, I like the idea of either a fast food joint or like a bar, like you're behind the bar, but sometimes you have to go deliver drinks and stuff.
I think that's got less people in it, like.
It would do, I suppose.
Especially if you don't have, the office floor, you can probably fit, 35 people?
Yeah.
Tag?
Yeah.
The idea is that...
maybe it's different workplaces for different size groups. Like, you just want to play a 6-person game of workplace tag. Yeah, either fast food or fast food you could probably do a bit more because you got all the people cooking food in the back. You got people on the registers. You got some maintenance people maybe, but no, like a bar, you've got just like assistant manager and 2 like wait staff going around the floor and 3 bartenders.
Okay, so I see this has got sort of like a competitive mode. Effectively, if you have you played Overwatch before? Like you've seen
in the
how competitive mode works. That if you win, you get like points, and if you lose, then you lose sort of points.
Okay.
I like the idea that say you got all the different levels of tag, like a leaderboard or something like that, like a global leaderboard or something similar to that. The person that comes last, they lose a whole heap of points, but then the people who sort of end up near the bottom with the amount of work that they've done or the amount of times that they were they go down. They maybe lose some points. So you really want to be
depending
in the
on where you were in the lead in that rank in that match, then you lose or gain less or more points, basically. Yeah. Okay.
The idea being that you want to be up near the top because, like, there's weekly prizes or something like that for those who
drops,
kept their streak
loot boxes probably.
Well. Yeah, but
cosmetic items.
Yeah, all cosmetic items, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
New characters or new skins for characters.
Yeah, totally, exactly. Different sort of accessories.
A new tie.
Yeah, totally. Like one day, Bob came in with a new hat to the office, and everyone liked it, and it was the highlight of the week.
Okay, through John quick.
All right, that was a good deep dive. I like that.
'Twas.
Load.
Revert.
Oh, sorry, I thought your word was 'twas. Right, you were just agreeing with me. Okay. Load, revert. Oh, those are words that crop up in my day job. Which it doesn't make for an interesting game, but I find it hard to not use them in that context. There's high load on your CPU because you rolled out a change that broke something, so you need to revert it in time. It's basically a stress simulator for my job. Let's not do that one.
No.
Do you have anything else for those words?
I was sort of thinking along the lines of an educational game teaching coding to kids or something like that. And showing, how versioning works and all that sort of stuff and having to revert changes from shitty developers.
shitty developers. Okay. Yeah. No, I don't have anything for that.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1, click. Exam.
Surrounding.
Oh. You go.
Okay. So you play a security guard.
Okay.
At a high school.
Yes.
During exam time.
Of course, it's an American high school, so you carry a gun.
Well, I was thinking your whole idea is that you've got to, first of all, check to make sure that all their calculators are cleared.
Okay.
Because, with graphics calculators and stuff, you can write programs that have
all
some
the
of the answers to the exams and that sort of stuff. And then you've got to go around and try and catch the kids cheating.
Okay. Maybe this is a multiplayer game too, where one person plays the guard and some other people play people taking the exam, but you don't know who the humans are. Because there's a bunch of AI players too. So it's almost a little bit of Spy Party-esque kind of thing where the security guard can only look at, certain sections of the room at once. Maybe for whatever reason this exam is held in a room that has, big pillars in it, so you can't see everyone at once. And so you have to cheat off the people around you if you're one of the players. Mm-hmm. But, there's a strategy around... Oh, maybe there's a bit of this is weird. I'm always picturing a little bit of Minesweeper in that if you go to cheat off the person in front of you, they might be shit. They might not have the right answers. Mm-hmm. But do you know that? How do you know that? And so you kind of, maybe you sort of have to watch the other people who then cheat off them and see, I don't know how you'd verify it necessarily, but I kind of like that idea of you may or may not be getting the right answers from that person. And so, but you've got a really good way to cheat off them. So how do you determine if that's the best thing to do or not? Or do you go for the riskier one by turning around to cheat off the person behind you, but then they might see you, or the security guard is more easily going to see you turning around?
Okay. So other things that can happen is the security guard also has to administer hall passes.
Okay.
So the AI and the person can choose to, flag the security guard over.
Yep.
And ask for a hall pass to go to the toilet.
Yep.
And then the security guard has to make a decision at that time. Do they go with the person to the toilet to make sure they don't cheat
on the way? Yeah.
Or stay in the room and hope that they've got the right person.
That
they
this
haven't
is an
got
AI
the right person.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I do like the idea though that rather than in Spy Party, I think there should be at least 2 or 3 humans in a room.
Okay.
So you're trying to figure out who all of them are. And so it is is this person one of the humans? And maybe they can collaborate. Maybe as they go to the toilet with the hall pass, they can slip a note to one of the other humans with some answers on it, and that ups their score.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like the idea of another sort of mission that you can do to get answers. Because the idea is that you as a human, you have to pass, and the only way to pass is to cheat.
Yeah, I think so. Look, I think basically you've got a score, and it goes up every time you successfully cheat or do any of these other things that basically get you points.
I like the idea of someone can come to the back window with answers.
Right.
Or a different random window, and the idea being that you'll hear a little rattle of tick, tick, tick.
Yep.
Just a little knock on a window, and that'll give you the option to either make a distraction for one of the other humans to get their answers.
Yep.
or hope that like one of the AIs makes a distraction at the time, or the security guard just isn't watching.
Yeah, well, I like the idea that the humans are actually working together. Like, they all want each other to pass.
Do they know who each other are, or?
Well, I think maybe there are ways to signal it in, like, so maybe you can, like, spitball each other, and that's a sign. But obviously, again, the guard has to not be looking. So one of the things you can do is spitball someone, and initially you might not know, unless you suspect it from their other behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
But spitballing them will get their attention, and if you, like, look at each other after a spitball, there's, like, some sort of, in-game thing of, like, oh, that's another human. You, like, give a little thumbs up or something. And from that point on, you know. And so you can, slip them some answers as you walk past. But you can only slip answers if you've gathered some answers, right?
Yep.
From cheating off the other people. So, you might see that person's cheating a lot. It's like, oh, right, okay, you got to share some answers with me, dude. Because it's all going to help make sure the guard doesn't. Because I guess if the guard catches any of you, you all lose. Like, because they reschedule the exam.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway, yeah, I really like that sort of asynchronous competitive stuff, like Spy Party in that way. I think that's a really interesting.
It is pretty cool.
Different sort of thing that has some of those same aspects of just looking in the right spot at the same time and looking for people's tells, but with multiple people working together against the security guard. Yeah, there could be some really interesting things there.
That's really cool.
I like the idea that you can play with the microphone, and so if you are close enough to someone else, you can whisper, but the microphone will detect how loud you're talking, determine whether to also send that to the security guard via their headphones.
It's all in VR.
Oh, God. I mean, that would have worked pretty well.
It would.
Yeah.
It's all in first person.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
All
right, well, I think maybe we'll finish up there.
I think so too.
Thank you for joining us this week on Bitstorm.
You're welcome.
Well, I wasn't talking to you. Although, thank you too, Trevor. If you want to find us on Twitter, Facebook or Instagram, we're BitstormCast on all of those. We have a Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Bitstorm. We are on YouTube, and you can find that link on our Podchaser page, because that's the easiest way to get there. Podchaser.com/Bitstorm. You can also rate there, review there, and as of this week, add us to a list.
If you use Apple devices, you may be using iTunes. You can rate and review us there. You can also subscribe to us there. It's one of the easiest ways if you've got an Apple device. We've got a website, bitstormcast.com. We update it every week with the episode. So that's another place that you can get it. We've got friends at the AGPN. Yes, that's right. We've got friends. Just search hashtag AGPN on Twitter or the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network on Facebook. Finally, we'd like to thank us at Kuradust for the song Mount Defiance off of the album Containment Failure.
So yes, thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott.
And I've got to get this page to that director really quickly, so I'm just going to bounce off this boom mic and spread some bees on that security guard.